Hi all. Well, I'm off to the poultry fair today. We had a fox attack sadly, and there is actually only one hen left. She's all by herself now, so she'll get cold at night. You know, I think she's quite enjoyed being by herself for a little while, but she gets so cold at night without some more hens to snuggle up to. And as luck would have it, it's poultry fair day up the road, so I'm going to go back there. I haven't been there for a while, but yeah, let's get underway. There she is. She's lost some head feathers with the distress of it. We had a fox attack, and the fox didn't get in, but unfortunately that can scare them to death, and it scared the others to death. She made it, but all the feathers fell out of her head. They're growing back now though, and I just know she's going to be happier with some companions, really. They particularly need it to keep warm at night. They sort of snuggle up to each other in the chicken run, and that helps keep them warm. And it's a real buyer beware job at this sale I'm going to. I won't name it because there are some very good sellers there, and I'm kind of getting wise to it. But obviously, you know, I'm not a poultry farmer, and I don't buy new chickens very often. There's only when something unfortunate happens. Last time I went to this one, I wouldn't say I was ripped off, not at all. This was very, very cheap. It was £3 for a cockerel, a Bantam cockerel. And, you know, they're worth a bit more than that if anybody actually wants them. But unfortunately, being boys, they don't lay eggs, and they do make a hell of a noise. But I thought maybe being a small Bantam cockerel, they're like half-sized chickens, I thought maybe he wouldn't make much noise. And the guy who sold me to him said, oh, yeah, they don't make much noise, these. And within a couple, because he's a very young cockerel, and within a couple of weeks he was waking me up every morning with the sunrise, and the neighbours as well. And he was a great character. I really got very fond of him. But God, he was very noisy, and I just about saved my relationship with my neighbours by being very nice to them about things generally. And they were okay about it, to be honest. But I mean, it's just when you get to the summer, in the west, we're in the west of UK here, the far west, and in the summer, it gets light at about kind of 3:30 a.m. Not broad daylight, but you know, cockerels start from the first little crack of light in the sky, and there was just no stopping him, you know, and he'd crow all day. He sort of, I was fine with him, but he drove other people mad, and just got to, you know, human beings are a pack animal as well. We've got to kind of try and get on with each other. So sadly, when he passed away, I decided I wasn't going to get another cockerel. He was very, very brave, actually, because this was a previous fox attack when all the hens lived. And I saw him, actually. He sort of playing a game with the fox to get the fox to chase him. And I went outside to try and stop the fox, but by then he was running off into the distance with a fox behind him, and that was the last I ever saw of him, sadly. But you know, what a brilliant little character. You know, he knew the fox might get in, so he drew the fox away, and you know, that was the end of him. But I guess that's his instinct, you know. Animals, birds particularly, they got very, very little in the way of a brain, hence the expression bird brain. And nearly everything is automatic with them, and so Mr. Cockerel went his way there. But no, I've still got my little beauty there, and we're going to have to get her some friends. So let's fire up the old car and see where we end up. It's not very far from here, the poultry sale. It's about a year since the last time I went, actually. We had a fox attack then as well. How strange to have fox attacks in summer. They usually only bother when they're absolutely desperate. And so they must have been desperate, but I wonder what makes a fox absolutely desperate for food in the middle of summer when there's like natural food everywhere. What a strange thing, eh? But there you go, that's nature. As much as we try and get clever and understand all about it, some of it is always going to be an enigma. For example, with let's put my belt on. It's not a public road, this, but I'll put my belt on to shut that thing up. Here we go. It shouldn't go off again now. Yeah, foxes, right? It's very strange business keeping foxes out. It's taken me a while to learn different ways of doing it. But the first couple of years I had hens, I had no fox problems at all. And I was chatting to a friend sort of why this might be. And it turned out because the fence I put up of chicken wire, I didn't actually nail it at the top. I'd heard that might be a good idea. I nailed it onto a post at each corner, but in between it was baggy, because foxes and any other predator actually, they want a sure footing when they're trying to climb into something. And if they step on springy wire, oh, they don't like that. They'd rather go and kill something else. Now, I actually, when we did start getting fox attacks, I ditched that idea. I've still got the wire, but I took it all down and I bought what they call welded mesh. It's only like a 1/2 inch gap, about 12mm gap in between the wires of it, and the wires are welded together. And a determined fox can get through that, but they usually don't bother. It's kind of painful for them to chew through it. I'm not anti-foxes at all. I don't like the fox hunters who come through here blowing their hunting horns. I just, you know, I'm all in favour of nature, and foxes are part of that. But in my little bit of land there, just in my little bit, where I want to keep hens, I think I've got a right to try and keep the foxes away from my little darlings there, you know, because they lay eggs. It's all practical, so they're quite homesteady. Even though they're half-size chickens, bantams, they do lay half-size eggs. You just like to put 4 in a cake instead of 2, and it's beautiful yellow because the yolks are quite big. It's beautiful yellow cakes that taste nice. A bit like duck eggs when you start making cakes with them, only much smaller than duck eggs, really. But foxes, you know, they're welcome as far as I'm concerned, but they're much more welcome if they just walk past my house, so I can kind of see them and think, oh, how nice. But they don't actually come in and eat my chickens. So I was actually thinking, if that little lady there had passed, I might not have got any more chickens for a while. But you know, the moral responsibility of it basically is that she is just going to get colder and colder now, and I can't have that. So you know, we'll have to get her a couple of friends, maybe. And 3 or 4 would be good. I think if there was 4 or 5 of them in there in the winter, they'd be really nice and warm. But I think 2 or 3 will do it. And you never know quite what the price is going to be at the poultry fair. It's always a good price, but it varies a lot more than the kind of professional chicken farm places do. Some of them are professional, by the way, and everything there is kind of nice and clean, and, you know, obviously from places that have been inspected. But they're always that bit cheaper at this poultry fair. It's quite fun there, but I'm not going to film, I'm afraid, at the actual poultry fair, because there's a car boot sale going on as well, which is a bit like a swap meet. And people are happier if no one's got a film of anybody there. You know, there's no records kept. It kind of works better that way. Makes everything a lot cheaper as well. But you have got to know what you're looking for in terms of what hens you want to get. I got screwed over on the cockerel that time. I don't know, he was a great friend. It was good to have him around. I was very sorry to see him die. You know, but his ability to crow presented me with a number of problems which weren't very easy to resolve. But I think I know what I'm looking for this time. I've had many chickens, many hens, and this would be about the 6th bantams I've bought. I mean, if I buy 2 today, that'll be 6 bantams I've bought in my time, and I'm getting to know their little ways, and, you know, what's healthy and what's not healthy. Sometimes you find out, actually. I've never really worried about my chicken's feet unless it's been very wet weather, because if you like get a chicken to perch on your finger, the underneath of their feet is like rock solid leather. You know, that won't hurt, I'm sure. They, you know, very good. But I didn't know you had to look out for that. And the last time I was buying hens at this place, the guy kind of picked one up upside down and insisted that I inspected her feet, because he'd really looked after her feet. And yeah, fair enough, they were good. I just didn't realise what a big thing that was. But of course it is, because in wet weather, when they're stuck in the chicken run, but end up with a condition very like trench foot that the soldiers in the First World War got, and it just never dries out. So that's something I learned. There's always something new to pick up. Anyway, let's do some footage of the road on the way here, because it's kind of pretty. It's a nice sunny day today. Yeah, we've got this scenic route. I always go the other way, but this way's really nice up through the lanes. Takes a minute longer, but it's lovely. Wonder what my friends in America think of my car. This sounds like a very deep, powerful engine to me, because it's 2 litres and it's a diesel, which makes quite a deep noise. And as British cars go, it is quite throating. But whenever I see American videos about cars, like even a really kind of small little car, it's like a run around for grandma. It's got like a 6 litre V8 in it or something, you know, and it's like, whoa. I would quite like to drive one. I drove one a long time ago when I was very young. A friend of mine had a Pontiac GTO that he was doing, a 1970s one, and I started it up and drove it a little bit to have a go in it, and it was absolutely great fun. It was a huge amount of power. Right, let's get on up the road. And all these cars have had their fun and gone past. Right, I'll be back in a sec. I'm going nearly back already, and I haven't actually, only cut a few seconds out of that while I was changing screens there. I kind of like this because the poultry fair, when it happens, it's just not very far from here, and I always think it must be quite kind of distressing for the chickens to be put in a, you know, an unfamiliar car, an unfamiliar cage as well, and driven down the road. So it's a very quick drive, which is great. Before now, I've bought birds from Cardigan, which is about kind of 18 miles from here, about 20 miles, so something right outside of Cardigan, and that's just a long time, you know. They're about sort of 40 minutes getting back. Because, you know, the Welsh roads curve a lot, you can't go very fast, which is no bad thing, really. Oh, I just had to flip it round there because there's a horse coming and oh god, we're completely screwed here, aren't we? Right, very slowly, very slowly. Beautiful horse this, though. Look, what a beautiful horse. And so well too, and so well behaved as well. Oh, and someone is kindly pulling in up there for me as well. There we go. And the sun's gone in. I've seen prettier days, I've seen more cheerful skies, but it was really sunny a minute ago, so maybe it'll come out again, who knows. So let's take a look. Here we are in a cat box. They've got very small combs because they're what you call point of lay. They'll almost certainly start laying eggs in the next kind, about 3 weeks, maybe a bit more. So, let's see. I'm wondering what the other hen is going to make of them. She can tell something's up, And she's on top of her shed, watching what goes on here. Let's see how these guys get on. What do you think, baby? Let's see how you guys get on, eh? Okay. There we go. So we've opened the gate. Still a bit scared in there, my darling. She'll be alright soon, though. Takes them a little while to get their bearings. And so they're starting to come out now. There's Madam Redhead there, sticking her head out. I'm sure they'll all be out in a minute. I'm giving them some corn, and there's loads of like grass and weeds and stuff that I've piled up in there, so they can have a good forage, no doubt. Don't worry, baby, you'll all be friends very soon. Oh, I'm quite pleased with that decision now. I was wondering this morning sort of whether I really should, because I've been thinking it'd be good to do a bit more travelling in the next year or so. But, you know, the fact is sometimes you're sort of guided to do the right thing just by basic circumstances, and I wasn't sure what to do for the best, really. I suppose I could have given the little one away there, and she could have run with another flock, you know, but people are a bit cagey about accepting chickens that have lived somewhere else, because they can bring diseases, not like killer diseases, but just the normal kind of bugs that any animal's got on it. They're quite sensitive to that if it comes from a different place. So I didn't think anyone was going to take her on, as far as I could tell. Now there they are. There's actually 4 of them there, and I got a really good deal because I've been there a few times now, and I'm really delighted with the way it's worked out. Actually, they look really healthy, but I'm not going to film them just yet. I'm going to let them, settle in, and I'll do a sequel in a day or two when they've settled in. Because I tell you, chickens really notice you pointing a camera at them. I don't know why, but they really do. Yeah. Oh, well, I hope you've enjoyed that little snapshot of the country life of Twig, brother. I'll be doing more readings again very soon. Possibly using these, because Etruscan bird augury was something the Romans used, and they laid out the city of Rome. And actually they laid out the city of London as well by observing chickens. Every single chicken is like a really powerful tarot deck that kind of has its own life and responds to things. And I'm still learning to observe them, but I can tell a thing or two from time to time. It's a learning curve. Anyway, here comes the wind blowing like I don't know what. So yeah, thanks again for watching. Have a good one. See you very soon. Peace.